everyone. Welcome to Magic Fundamentals, Lesson 1. This will be about tutors and why they kind of suck. So, what a tutor does is allow you to basically get a second, or even a third, or even a fourth copy of a card in your deck. And what does that mean? So that means that your tutor will turn into the best card in your deck. So let's say if I play Demonic Tutor, I need an Akroma's Will. Suddenly, that's an Akroma's Will for 2 extra mana. So I classify tutors into 2 separate types, narrow and open. A narrow tutor means when you cast it, there's only a few options in your deck to actually find. So if I cast Cultivate, I can only find basics. And if I were to cast Waterlogged Teachings, I can only find an instant card or a card with flash. While on the other hand, if I were to cast Vampiric Tutor or Demonic Tutor, any card in my deck is now an option. Because these cards let you find any card in your deck, you don't have to jump through hoops anymore to find an out. You have an instant perfect answer to any board state you can come across. Though that does assume that your deck is built correctly, you can actually respond to those situations. I believe that this process cheats you out of the fundamentals of Magic, which is drawing cards and playing what you're given. Those easy outs limit the growth that you can have as a player, and they don't lead to versatile deck building. So let's go through some good examples of tutors. Emeritus of Woe is a 4-mana Vampire Warlock creature that has the text, enters prepared. On your end step, 2 more creatures die this turn, becomes prepared again. But the critical part of this creature is that it has a 2-mana Demonic Tutor attached to it. So the main takeaways from this card is that it takes a 4-mana investment just to even get access to Demonic Tutor. It has 2 respawnable triggers, the cast of the creature, and the cast of the sorcery. It's also a tribal synergy card. So in my Elenda and Azor Vampire tribal deck, perfect card. I can reduce its cost, I can bring it back from the graveyard. The next one I want to talk about is Spellseeker. Spellseeker is a 3-mana human wizard. When there's a battlefield, you may search for an instant or sorcery card worth 2 mana or less, reveal it, and put it into your hand. This card limits the options that you can find in your deck to only 2 card types. And when you find that card, you need to show your opponents. The creature itself has a low initial investment. The requirement to it being 2 mana value or less limits access to game-ending pieces. And usually will only search out a Swords of Plowshares or a counterspell. Now let's talk about Transmutation Fawn. This is one of my personal favorites to run on my Tamio Inquisitive Student deck. It has a high initial investment of 5 mana. You may tap it for a blood, food, or clue token. Or you can pay 3 and sacrifice 3 differently named artifact tokens to find any artifact you want in your deck and put it onto the field. This is what I would call a keystone deck piece. Something you can only put in if you're already building around it completely. Now let's go to some bad examples of tutors, things that I don't like running, and I wouldn't recommend any other player run anything below bracket 4. The evil tutors, Vampiric and Demonic. They have very low costs. Vampiric Tutor is only a black. Demonic Tutor is a 1 and a black. Let you search for any card you want, either put it on top or put it into your hand. So they are basically cantrip card. They replace themselves for almost 0 investment. Because you always have access to that instant answer piece, you're losing a fundamental of deck building, which is finding out what cards should stay and what cards never leave your hand. So when you cast a Demonic Tutor, you're looking through your entire deck, what do you actually want to find? What's the perfect answer? Can you name every sorcery in your deck? How about every instant? Can you find it fast? We've all met the player at the LGS who takes 10 minutes to look through their deck just to find a Chroma's Will for the 5th time. So these are example cards I'd put in any of my decks that are great for drawing cards, that reward good deck building strategies. Cards like Kindred Discovery, which reward tribal synergies, attacking and entering. Enjoy Weatherlight Captain. So when you play your deck a certain way, you're going to get rewarded for it. So when I mean fundamental, I mean fun. Commander's about having fun. 100 card requirement will always limit your access to the best card in your deck. Don't cheat yourself out of the experience of growth. Tutors limit the randomness of Commander. And the whole point of the format is that no 2 games are the same. By playing your deck the same way every game, you're not truly getting better. That's all I have for you today in episode 1. Hope you enjoyed.